Welcome to IDA's video channel. In this video, I will show you how to import information from a CSV file into Civil 3D structure properties and then how to use those properties in labels. And this is a very powerful way of working with the structures and paths and the labeling, especially when you have a very specific information that you need to display in a profile view. And as you know, modifying each and every part is quite time consuming. So if you can do the batch operations, let's say in Excel file, and import the values in Civil 3D, that will save you a huge amount of time. And what I'm going to do in this case, I have a bulk water pipeline. This is a plan, and here is a longitudinal section. I want to label air valves, and I want to display the diameter and the class. And for the analysis, I used Ventomet software. So I used IDA's command export pipe branch. And then I imported all the data into Ventomet. I ran the analysis, and then I created a report. And if I show you that report, let me open it right now. It is a CSV file. Let me open it. I'm using LibreOffice Calc, which I personally prefer for CSV files rather than Excel. But here you can see that I have structures, air valves, and then it gives me the type of air valve, size, and class. And I want to use this information for my structures. Let's do that. I will minimize it for now. And then I'm going to export some data to Excel because that's an easy way of doing it. Now, I want to select only air valves, but I can select the entire network, or I can use a select similar, whatever you prefer. But in this case, I will select all the paths and structures because I want to show you how to work with the filters. And what I want to do, I want to write a data, those imported data into user-defined fields. Let me go to structure properties. If you use IDA's path catalog, you have user-defined fields for paths and structures. And I want to use those fields for those information imported from the CSV file. And it is very powerful, as you will see right now. So I go to Network Utilities, and then I go to Edit User Fields. If you prefer using the extended ribbon, I go there. So I go to Switch Interface. Then I go to IDA's Network Edit, Edit User Fields. Then I select the entire network in plan or in a profile view. And you can see all the pipes and structures in this list, which might be a little bit too much. Maybe you want to use some grouping. So there's a lot of options. You can use a filters here. You can use a grouping here. It says here, drag a column header here to group by that column. And I believe we can do it by either description or by style. So I can just drag it in here. And now I have a water style for pipes. I do have a air valves. I do have a scour valves and all that. I only want to work with air valves. So let me select them. So I will select them. And as you can see here, there are user-defined fields. I can export selected. So I go to export selected. Then I go to desktop. I will call it air valve. Then I hit enter. Then I want to modify that file. Let me open it. And it is again CSV file, comma delimited file, where you can see the name, type, network name, and user field 1. I can start typing values here, but I want to import values from this file. So what I will do, I will implement filtering. Let me implement that. I want to display only air valves. Okay. And then I will copy this. If you look at the sorting, it is sorted alphabetically. So I can basically copy this information, go to the next file, and I can paste it in here like that. I want them to be under the user field 1, user field 2. If you wish to use a different value, or you want to type it differently, or you want whatever, you can just type it in and you can copy and paste. But since you work in a, let's say, Excel or tabular editor, it is much faster to do any changes. So let me save it and close it. And I'll close this as well. I don't save changes. Great. Now I will select those air valves again. If you want to sort them alphabetically, you can do it here. You see, I select them again. Then I go to import to selected. I'll select the air valves file, open, and it imports user fields. And then I click OK. And if I go to air valve properties, let me go there, structure properties, you will see that user field 1 and user field 2 are there. You can override the values here. Let's say if you want PN25, you can do it here, or let's say diameter 50 millimeters, you can do it here, no problem at all. But if you have 20 air valves, you don't want to do it one by one. You want to modify it globally. And in that case, you open your CSV file, okay. Then you modify it globally. Let's say I want to use a 50 millimeters like that. Then I will copy it over to other and PN, let's say 25. I can do it like that. Again, I'll select one with a control everywhere, save. Then I close it and I go again. I go to that command where I can edit user fields. I will select entire network, or if I wish to, I can select air valve in a plan, right click, select similar. Unfortunately, it's out of screen. Let me try it again. Select similar. Only air valves are selected. Then I go to IDAS edit network, edit user fields. Then I press P for previous, enter, enter. And it shows me only the air valves. So I can select them, import to selected, air valve. Let me move it a bit. Open. As you can see, 50 millimeters PN25. Okay. And if I zoom in closer, if I go to that structure properties, it is updated. Now I want to display that in a label. Let me create a new label. So I'm going to Toolspace, Settings, Structures, Label Styles. There's a label style which says Profile Name. Let me copy it. I go to Copy and I will call it Profile Field 1 and Field 2. Maybe I should rather use a pipe symbol here like that. Field 1, Field 2. I go to Layout. There's a structure text. I click on that content. I click on a 3-dot button, select everything, and I will scroll down for user field 1, add. Then I click at the end, enter. User field 2, add. So both are displayed. OK. OK. Now this is a new label style. Then I want to add it to air valves only. Unfortunately, as per my knowledge, there's no way to do it automatically just for air valves. I can do it in a plan, but I can't do it in a profile. I need to select one by one. But it might be quite difficult to scroll through them. What I sometimes do, I modify the structure style to make it much bigger, so it's easier for me to select it. So let me do that. I go to Edit Structure Style. I go to Profile. Y value. I will copy it to clipboard because I will use it later on. And I will make it, let's say, 80 millimeters. Okay, now it becomes very big. So it is much easier because they stick out to select them. And now I go to Pipes, Add Labels, Add Pipe Network Labels. For the single part in Profile, I will select the style. Let me select the Profile Field 1, Field 2. Then I click Add. And now it is very important. If you select the structure inside Profile View, it will add a label. If you select the structure outside of Profile View, then it prompts you to select a Profile View, so I need to select it. So if you want, you must click inside. As you can see, much easier than going through the Profile View and trying to find out where there are air valves. Much quicker. So I've finished. I close the Edit Labels window. And now I can make the label style back smaller. So I go to Edit Structure Style. Then I go to Profile, Y value, and I paste from clipboard. Paste. OK. And you see it's much better and it displays here. Very flexible, very nice. So all these labels are there where I want them. Now what I did beforehand, I created a different style. Let me show you that style. So what I will do, I will select similar and I go to Properties. Unfortunately, the Properties window doesn't see it, so let me try again, select similar. And now I will change the style which I created beforehand. Profile, air valve, combination. Combination is a type of the valve. And here you can see, so what I did, this is a label. This is a label on top of the structure style. Now, why would I do it as a label? It could be part of the structure style, not just the label style, but in case where you have a two objects close to each other and they're overlapping, the label allows you to be moved up or down or left, right even. So I can do something like that if there is another object, and I can just draw the line, for example, to join it nicely. I did it skew, but I think you got a point. So that's why I prefer in this case using label, but the entire style can be part of the structure style. And since it is a label, then I can add those two user fields inside this label. So I right click, I go to edit label style, then I go to edit current selection. As you can see, this label consists of multiple components such as vertical line, left bottom, right bottom, and so on. And I want to add another component, which will be text. And I can call it text or information or details, whatever. Then I click on a content. OK, and I specify user field 1 and user field 2. Let me do that very quickly. So I select user field 1. Then I hit enter at the end, user field 2. Add. OK. They're not positioned nicely, so let me adjust it accordingly. So I want to attach them to the top line. The anchor point should be middle. The text height 2.5, rotation 0, and top center. Now it fits beautifully inside. I can play with some other settings, but I'm happy. I click OK, and I click OK, and those labels are inside the rectangle. And again, if I want to do the global update, I can do it from the Excel, or I can do it manually as well. If I go to structure properties, I can change it here. Let's say if this is 16, OK, and it updates. Those user fields can be used for tables as well. So I go to plan, select similar. Again, it's out of the screen, select similar. Then I go to pipes, add table, add structure table. Then I select air valve, multiple selection, structure selected, P enter for previous selection. OK, and let's place it in here. And you see it says undefined. How is that possible? Let me go there. If I go to structure properties, and if I scroll down, there is a valve diameter pressure model description. Unfortunately, those are undefined, and those can be only modified from this structure properties window, which is not ideal. We plan to create an interface where you can modify all editable fields, but unfortunately we don't have it yet. But we can use a very simple workaround because we can use a user fields which already have information. So let me cancel here, and I go to the table, and then I go to edit table style. And for diameter, I will use a user field 1. So I double click in here, 3-dot button. Let me delete whatever is there, and let me use a user field 1. OK, OK, OK. And for the pressure rating, let me do the same. I go to edit table style for the valve, 3-dot button, delete whatever is there, user field 2, and you can introduce user field 3, 4, and even more. And again, if you need to do any modifications, you can do it directly from the structure properties window, or you can do it from the user fields window, or you can import it from Excel. Let me show you one more thing. Let me select those air valves. In plan, let me go there, select similar. Again, it's out of the screen. Select similar. Then I go to IDAS network, user field, P for previous selection, enter. I have air valves here. But what I can do, I can modify them globally as well, because if I select multiple, I can use a shift to select more than one valve. Then I right click. Here I can start typing 25 millimeters, or I want to use only 25, no millimeters. And for 50, I want to use only 50. So I right click 50 like that. OK, because I want the table, it says here millimeters, so I don't want to repeat the units in the table. But now my label is incorrect because I want to display millimeters here. How can I fix it? Let me fix that. So I go to edit label style. Then I go to Edit Current Selection. Then I go to Text. I click on a three-dot button and use a field 1 that must display millimeters. OK, OK, OK. And now it displays beautifully in the label as well as in a table. So this is very powerful, as you can see, and that can be used for pipes, structures, for sewer networks, water reticulation, bulk water pipelines, and stormwater networks. Now you can see how quickly you can label the pipes and structures in your Civil 3D pipe network.